Hello friends, and welcome back to English Classes Online, where English learning is made easy. Kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Like and share our videos and turn on the notification for more videos. English Classes Online is where English learning is made easy. English Classes Online is also where literature in English is made easy. English Classes Online is where we teach you how you can use the English language as a powerful tool for content creation. So we teach you how you can use the English language to create valuable content and create multiple streams of income on various online platforms. So you are most welcome to our channel. Rest assured that our classes are always informative, educative, and exciting. Let's dive into today's lesson right away. You are welcome to today's class. In today's lesson, we are going to discuss adverbial clauses and how to use them. I am Benjamin, your English teacher. Let's get started right away with a quick look at the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to do the following. 1. Define adverbial clause. 2. Mention types of adverbial clauses. 3. Give examples of how to use them. Let's begin with the first item. What is an adverbial clause? An adverbial clause is a subordinate clause used as an adverb in a sentence. Of course, you know that there are three basic types of clauses. You have the noun clause, the adjectival clause, and the adverbial clause. And today we are specifically looking at the adverbial clause. Is a subordinate clause used as an adverb in a sentence. And you know that a clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb and forms a sentence or part of a sentence. And an adverb, of course, is a subordinate clause, so it can only form part of a sentence. We have a main clause, and that's the only type of clause that can form a sentence. All right, so you can look for a video on types of clauses, and then you'll be able to differentiate between subordinate and main clauses. Main clauses are called independent clauses. Subordinate clauses are called dependent clauses. Adverbial clauses tell us when, where, why, how, for what purpose, to what extent, or under what condition an action is performed. So different ideas, different, you know, uh, pieces of information, can be provided by adverbial clauses. So that is why we are examining the topic in today's lesson. It's really a very important grammatical structure because the adverbial clause helps to give you additional information, all right, and help you to, express your ideas in a variety of ways. So let's now move on. Types of adverbial clause and how to use them. Let's begin to look at them one by one. The first one is the adverbial clause of time. An adverbial clause of time shows when something happens, okay? And it begins with when, while, before, after, until, since, and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at a few examples. Example A, Junior visited us when we were in Kaduna. When we were in Kaduna. The question is, when did Junior visit us? Junior visited us when we were in Kaduna. Now, an adverbial clause of time can be replaced by an adverb of time or an adverbial phrase of time. For example, we can replace this clause with an adverbial phrase. When did Junior visit us? Junior visited us on Monday. We can even replace it with a single word adverb. When did Junior visit us? Junior visited us yesterday. See, yesterday is an adverb. On Monday is an adverb phrase. When we were in Kaduna is an adverbial clause. Okay. B, Rose swept the house before she went to school. So the adverbial clause of time here is before she went to school. It provides answer to the question when. When did Rose sweep the house? Rose swept the house before she went to school. Again, we can replace the clause with a single word adverb. We can say Rose swept the class, Rose swept the house today. All right. We can also replace it with an adverb phrase. Rose swept the house this morning. Okay. So the second one is adverbial clause of place. All right, an adverbial clause of place shows where something happens. Now, I want you to take note of the various types of clauses, how we use them, and what the kind of information they provide, or the types of ideas they help us to express. Now, the adverbial clause of time we earlier saw expresses the idea of time, when, but this one expresses the idea of place, where something happens. Okay, let's look at some examples. Example A, fools run where angels fear to tread. So where angels fear to tread. Okay, we can replace it with any other adverb of place, any other element, that has to do with adverb of place. We can say fools run on the field. Okay, so the idea is to express place or location. Example B, people like to shop where prices are low. Okay, so we can say people like to shop here. Okay, to shop here. Where? Here or there. People like to shop there. And if you point to a particular place where people like to shop, here and there are adverbs of place. Okay, let's move on to adverbial clause type 3, adverbial clause of manner. It shows how something happens. It answers the question how. And again, it begins with as if, or as though, and so on. Example A, Moses did as the Lord commanded him. How did Moses do? He did as the Lord commanded him. We can replace that with a single adverb of manner. We can say Moses did it well. Okay, Moses did it well. But here, Moses did it as the Lord commanded him. B, the bereaved woman wept as if her life had come to an end. All right, so that is an adverbial clause of manner. How did the woman weep? How did the bereaved woman weep? we can replace it with a single adverb of manner ending in ly. We can say the bereaved woman wept bitterly. Okay. Number 4, adverbial clause of purpose. It shows for what purpose something is done. For example, Jude started an online business that he may earn passive income. That's the purpose. You know, Jude started an online business. For what purpose? That he may earn passive income. B, we eat that we may live. We eat, for what purpose do we eat? We eat that we may live. Number 4, well, that seems to be a kind of repetition, right? Well, okay, so let's move on. Number 5, adverbial clause of degree, adverbial clauses of degree, comparison, or proportion. They are similar. Now, this type of adverbial clause shows the degree or the extent of an action, the quality or manner. Okay, so that is the kind of thing, those are the types of ideas expressed by adverbial clauses of degree, comparison, or proportion. Now, it usually begins with as, dash as, than, etc. Let's look at a few examples. A, Jane cannot run as fast as Mary does. You see, Jane cannot run as fast as Mary does. So, as fast as Mary does uh, is an adverb of degree and an adverb of comparison as well, because it compares the uh, it compares the speed of Mary with the speed of Jane. Okay, so that's what it does. B, John is much younger than James is. You see, that James is also an adverb of comparison, comparing the age of James to that of John. Adverbial clause of result is number 6. It shows the result of an action and it begins with that, so that, and so on. For example, Ken was so worried that he could hardly sleep. The adverb of result here is that he could hardly sleep. Ken was so worried. Now, what was the result of his being so worried that he could hardly sleep? That was the result of it. Andrew spoke so well that the audience gave him a standing ovation. That the audience gave him a standing ovation is this result. And Andrew spoke so well. The result was that the audience gave him a standing ovation. That brings us to number 7, adverbial clause of condition. It gives the condition for an action to occur, and it begins with if, unless, provided, providing, etc. For example, the match will be cancelled if it rains. So you will see this type of clause is called an if clause, and it features in conditional sentences. It is also called a conditional clause. And no wonder it is called an adverbial clause of condition here, because it indicates the condition for an action to occur. B, you won't pass your exams unless you study hard. Now, one thing again with adverbial clauses is that, like, single word adverbs, they are mobile. We can actually begin a sentence with an adverbial clause, and we can end a sentence with an adverbial clause. For example, example A, if it rains, the match will be cancelled. You see, we can bring this to the initial position. Again, in example B, unless you study hard, you won't pass your exam. So we can bring this to the initial position. Now we move on to number 8, adverbial clause of concession. It shows a contrast, when we want to look at two opposite ideas, and then we look at them and we contrast these ideas. An adverbial clause of concession can help us to do that. It begins with though, although, even though, even if, whereas, while, etc. For example, though he is old, he does his exercises regularly. These are two contrasting ideas. He is old, so you expect him not to be physically active. On the contrary, he does his exercises regularly. So an adverbial clause of concession helps us to look at two contrasting ideas, okay? B, although Samson was physically strong, he was morally weak. So we are looking at the two opposite qualities in Samson. He was physically strong, but he was morally weak. All right, so we use this adverbial clause of concession to look at these two opposite qualities. Although Samson was physically strong, he was morally weak. Okay. The last but not the least, adverbial clause of reason. It gives the reason for an action, and it begins with because, since, that, inasmuch as, since, that, etc. For example, Luke missed, let me take it again. Luke missed his flight because he arrived late at the airport. You see, it answers the question why. For example, Luke missed his flight. If we put a full stop and the question that comes to mind is why? Why did Luke miss his flight? Luke missed his flight because he arrived late at the airport. So you can see. B, you have to forgive him since he has apologized for his misconduct. So if someone tells you you have to forgive him, and then you ask why should I forgive him? Since he has apologized for his misconduct. So that is the reason for forgiving him, since he has apologized for his misconduct. And again, we can change the subordinating conjunction. We can use because in place of since, and we can also replace because with since. Let's try the first one. Luke missed his flight since he arrived late at the airport. Well, not perfectly fitting in, but can be used. But because can perfectly fit in here in the second example. You have to forgive him because he has apologized for his misconduct. You see, this fits in perfectly. So, and this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you did, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comment section below. See you in the next class, and goodbye. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you.